Hey guys, me again with another YouTube video. So today we're going to be looking at my entry into Alan's custom Lego contest, and basically it was to build the Desert Eagle, and we could do any modifications to it, any just customizations that we wanted to do, as long as it still basically was a Desert Eagle. So I was doing a little research on my project and I found the picture that I really wanted to do, but as a foreword I wanted to say that this is the fourth Desert Eagle I've built in my lifetime as a Lego builder. My first one was done a couple years ago, and then I opened it up a little bit ago to look at it, and I kind of cried a little bit because of how horrible it was. And then the other three came from this contest. Actually, I worked on one a week ago. I didn't really do that well on it, so I scrapped it. I started a second model. I got everything basically finished on it, but it just didn't have that look that I really wanted to it, so I had to scrap that one, and I opened up a MK.III model and I started working on it, and it came out really well, and I'm very proud of myself. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce to you the reference picture that I used to build the Desert Eagle. So this is some fan art, and it's 3D generated, but it looks pretty sweet, that you'll find whenever you Google image Desert Eagle, and it's very good CG, if I might add. And I liked it because it's just something that you don't see much on a Desert Eagle. But basically all it is a large barrel extension for increased accuracy over a longer range, and that was something that I really wanted to incorporate into my project. So what happened was I built a MK.II Desert Eagle as a standard length Desert Eagle, scrapped it, took all the dimensions from it, and then built the MK.III version and extended out the barrel and the slide just a little bit. So, moving right on to the MOC, I'm going to swipe over, and here we go. So we have both of our Desert Eagles here, so obviously there's going to be a dual-wheeled attachment, and they all have working features. The only feature that does not work is the magazine release, and they don't shoot. Granted, I dislike actual shooting models because I believe they don't function as well in Legos as they should, but they do very well in terms of grabbing that look of the Desert Eagle and getting it down. Now then, you could see the dark gray, metallic gray of the slide, and that's there for a reason, and I'll explain that later on in the MOC. But basically, it's a dual-wheeled with a barrel extension customization on both of these Desert Eagles. Black grips with a dark gray overall, and then a darker gray for the slide. Alright, so moving on, we're going to do the left pistol for the lower receiver, and then the right one for the upper receiver. So here we have our black grips, the black plastic grips, and then on the side you have the magazine release, which kind of, as you can see, it's not on this one. Crap, I don't have an image pulled up other than this one. I had three images working in the background. I had this one, an actual Desert Eagle, and then a airsoft Desert Eagle that I was working on. But basically, the magazine release isn't in the grip itself, but it's extended kind of into the trigger guard a little bit. So I did that by using a few pieces to kind of push it out from the actual grip itself. Inside the grip we do have a removable magazine, and this was kind of hard to do in LDD because of all the tilting involved, but basically all it does is it sits up between all of the slope pieces, just like so. There's no simulated bullet on top, which I'm kind of disappointed in, but at the same time it does look very good. It has a good length to it, and I feel as if it would be really fun to just kind of play around with if I ever built the MOC in real life. Also, while all of this is gone, I wanted to show you guys the internal slide lock, which is this bar is the slide lock itself, and in real life this would slide up into the slide itself to stop it, but I didn't want that on this MOC. So to still incorporate the feature of the slide lock, I built it internally. So basically when you pull up on this arm here, it takes these two arms and this one arm and pulls up on them in the same direction. So it still has the same slide lock feature, just not on the slide itself. So I still have the structural integrity of my trigger guard and whatnot, but I don't have to worry about any major failures in this area because of this Technic beam that provides my support. Now then, speaking of the trigger guard, we do have a working trigger. As you can see, here's the axle for the pivot point. Let's see if we can get it to turn. Yeah, see, like I said, a working trigger, and it's one of those stylized triggers, so it has the kind of what would you call it? The kind of the curve on the front of it, and then a curve coming up off the back of it, and it has enough room on the inside or the internals for a rubber band to hold it back, and then there's a special bar that's blocking the way for the trigger to go any farther forward than this, so it's always in a standard position and it doesn't fly forward too far. Coming down, we have the curved trigger guard, and then it slopes up just a little bit, slopes out just a little bit, slopes, just like the model here. Slopes out just a little, slopes up, slopes out, slopes up. So I got both of those done. Moving on into the underneath of the upper receiver, we have our tactical rail system here. As you can see, there isn't one here, but on the other IWI Desert Eagle that I saw, I did see one, so I went ahead and I put that on for any optics that you, or not optics, optics, for any lasers or flashlights that you might want to add. Coming up off the back of the pistol grip, you have the kind of the curving that stops your hand from sliding up in front of the slide as it's pushed back, because it would kind of suck to get slammed by that. A lot of force moving with a lot of weight. Here we have the functioning hammer. It folds upwards into the upper receiver, into this little circle here, which would act as your striker for your firing pin. And when you cock the slide back, it pushes the hammer down into its full position, which is why this is half and half. You got the light gray and then the dark gray, because when you end the dark gray here, it pushes the hammer down into its full position. If you go up with the dark gray, it won't go all the way down, and if you go down with the dark gray, the slide won't be allowed to come all the way back. So it's in that perfect spot. Alright, to talk about the slide lock though, I'm going to go ahead and lock back the slide. Oh crap, wrong tool. Color selection tool, which by the way is why this is dark gray instead of any other color. And it moves back a total of 5 studs. If I can just find the correct position, that'd be great. There we go. So as you can see, it locks back, and I'm just going to move these 2 back sights and then leave it locked back. As you can see, it stays locked back, and it exposes one of 2 things. One, or 3 things actually. One, you have the first rubber band connector there, and then the second one is inside the chamber, kind of along these guide rods, or the guiding system in there. But I'm going to kind of disappear the chamber just a little. Oh my god. How far is it up there? There it is. So the other rubber band connector is way up here, and the reason I did it so long is so that it actually snaps forward with enough force to close it. I've noticed in some of the MOCs that it's kind of the rubber band length is really short and it just doesn't have enough force to close it. So I went ahead and I made it really long. Now then, the second thing it exposes is the light gray that you see here. It's not this. This is the actual top of the magazine. So if there was a simulated bullet in here, and this internal slide lock wasn't here, the magazine would actually come up even farther, and you could have an exposed bullet right here. But again, since this internal slide lock is here, I couldn't take the magazine all the way up. Now then, the third thing and final thing that it exposes is the internal slide lock. So I'm going to go ahead and twist it so that you guys can see basically what happens. So it comes up just like that when you lock it back, and what happens is this one bar right here gets pushed up right underneath this rubber band connector, and there's a little lip that it catches onto, and it locks the slide in place. Now then, what's really neat about this type of thing is when you pull the slide back just a little bit, because there's enough room for this to come forward a little, so when you pull the slide back a little bit and you let it go forward, it has enough force to override this and push it back down and slide forward like the actual real working gun. So there's one of two ways that you can release this slide lock. You can either pull back on the slide and let it slide forward naturally, or you can flip the lock down itself. So that's two things that I wanted to incorporate. But yeah, all it is just it flicks up inside and outside, and that's how it works basically. Alright, so I'm going to use the... Oh, I didn't realize that. That's cool. Since I used the color selection tool, chose this one as well, and it put it in the same exact place. Oh, just got a raging headache though, so I'm going to see if I can't finish this up real quick. The chamber, which is this circle thing in case no one noticed, is actually hollow enough on the inside that you can put a dummy round inside of it, like you're actually loading the weapon. So that's just a cool little thing that I wanted to point out. So I'm going to go ahead and close back both of them. Oh crap, probably shouldn't have done that. Alright, I'm just going to go all the way back to my previous save. Alright, so we're going to use the other gun for the upper receiver. So starting with the upper receiver on the slide, like I said, you have the striker here for the firing pin, which after your hammer hits it, it shoots the bullet. You have the safety / fire selector right here. It does turn and is ambidextrous. So as you can see, I can flip it around to the other side, and it's turning over here as well. On the side of the slide, you have the groove pieces that act as grips for your fingers so they don't slip. Up on top we have some nice little curves, not too much but not too little. They just add that really nice effect. And then we have the back iron sights, which are painted red to distinguish from the front ones. And they have a really interesting shape because they kind of come up, straight up, and then slant out the back and straight down out the back. And I really like that design. Speaking of the iron sights though, aiming down the iron sights looks something a lot like this. And like I said, these are painted red to distinguish from the orange front iron sight, which is shaped the same exact way. Now then, we also have an upper rail system over here for any type of optic that you might need, and this time it really is the optic. So any type of red dot, maybe an ACOG, maybe an EOTech, and if you're feeling saucy, go ahead and throw on a scope, get out those headshots from long distance, no problem. Moving on into the upper receiver, we have the barrel extension that goes from the normal, I believe it's a 6-inch barrel, to the massive 10-inch barrel, which adds so much more accuracy, especially since this one's chambered in the 50 Action Express round, so basically the biggest handgun round that's in semi-auto handguns. And what's really neat about this is the little pattern on the side here, these little right triangles cut out with the light gray on the inside that represent the barrel itself. And then what's really neat is this front curve. Though I did not get this little gap right here, this front curve almost matches the actual Desert Eagle. Granted, the Desert Eagle is more of a straight geometric slant, and this is more of a curve, organic curve, but it almost matches exactly, and I was really happy. On the end here you have the black where the bullet would come out, and of course you have the sloping up on top of the upper receiver as well. So I've covered basically about every part of the gun, and I'm really happy I made this model. It looks really good, and I'm going to try to get this uploaded to the website soon so that there are decently HD quality pictures by the end of the contest, but I don't know when that might happen. I do have an AP US History project that I need to do. It's due Friday, and today is Wednesday, and I've done like a quarter of it, and I need to do that. So I don't know when I will get this updated to the website. I don't know when I will get the Walther P99 or the MK.III Blue Jay Industries M4 PDW uploaded either, but we will see. Then again, I might be able to do it tomorrow after school, but I don't know. Coming up next is the IWI Galil, and I've been saying that for a while now, but I believe as of right now it's in its final stages and we should be able to get it done. And hopefully I can get that out for Brandon S. He did request it, so we'll see. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe for more videos like this one. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.